Hello, this is Marcus Montemere. This is week 2 histology, and I will be talking about tissues for week two's video. So, there are 4 types of tissues: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. I'll start off by talking about epithelial tissue. Um, so, epithelial tissue could be found in the skin, parts of the mouth, and parts of the nose. And this is from where the ectoderm is formed. And the epithelium cells that are from the airway and the digestive tract, that is from the endoderm. And the epithelial cells that form the lymphatic and cardiovascular vessels, you could find those in the mesoderm. So these cells form together to make epithelial tissues, and the main functions of these epithelial tissues is to protect us from the environment, secrete secrete and absorb hormones. Uh, like one example would be like your small intestine. Uh, it secretes digestive enzymes that help break down food and stuff like that. um, so when talking about the structure of ep- epithelial cells, they have different kinds of junctions. Like they have tight junctions, gap junctions, and anchoring junctions. Tight gap junctions are basically imperial barriers where nothing could really pass through, and gap junctions, it allows for exchange of solubles that could go through the cell, and anchoring junctions, they just bind together with the cell basically. There are also different types of epithelial tissues that can be characterized by their cellular shape. This includes squamous, is just like a flat cell; cuboidal, which is like a square cell; columnar cell, which is like it looks like a column, and then these cells can be either simple epithelial, which is just one layer, and then they could be stratified, which means it's like more than 2 layers basically. Uh, or even pseudostratified, but pseudostratified is basically where it's kind of not togetherly formed. Like they're not all identical. Um, in epithelial tissue, we also have exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Exocrine glands are basically uh, they release hormones through ducts, and then endocrines basically they don't have ducts and they release it through the bloodstream. The next one I'll be talking about is connective tissue. Uh, connect Connective tissue, what it does is it separates and cushions organs and protects us from injury. And they support us basically. They can also transport fluids and other nutrients. There there are three. I think there are three. There are 3 types of connective tissue. Connective tissue proper, uh, supportive tissue, and fluid tissue. Connective tissue proper, they can be branched out into loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. Uh, by their names, you can tell what they are. Loose connective tissue has like a web-like form of collagen fibers, where dense, obviously, dense connective tissues just has a dense pack of collagen fibers. And then for the supportive tissue, uh, supportive tissue is made out of cartilage and bones. That's where you can mainly find them. They provide structure and protection for our body. And then fluid tissue is our lymph and, blood, which, yeah. And the third third tissue I'll be talking about is muscle tissue. Uh, Muscle tissue is characterized by the way it allows us to move. We have actually three types of cells that make up muscle tissue. Uh, it's skeletal, cardiac, and smooth muscle cells. So the skeletal muscles help us move and make facial expressions, and obviously when you move, produce heat, and it helps protect organs. While cardiac muscles, they're involuntary movements. It helps us pump the heart, and uh, like skeletal muscle. No, no, no. And then smooth tissue is also involuntary. It helps us move food down our stomach, and it regulates the flow of blood in our arteries. And my favorite tissue is, and the last tissue is nervous tissue. It's characterized by mainly its ability to create stimuli and create, not create, receive stimuli and send out electrical signals. So, uh, nervous tissue is made out of neurons, which are nerve cells, and these nerve cells are very complex, but they have uh, they have cell bodies that branch out. They have little branches that look like, yeah, they basically look like branches. Those are the dendrites. Uh, those receive chemical signals from other nerve cells, uh, and the long tail. Here's the cell body, long tail, and then the branches, the dendrites. That long tail is called the axon, and it's covered by melon sheath. Melon sheath, I think. Yeah, and that it relays the signal from cell to other cells. Yeah, myelin sheath. It was myelin sheath. Um, yeah, yeah. These, yeah. I think that's it.